think a lot of us don't realize that the change we're looking for in our life is right on the other side of doing the thing that we're afraid to do, or saying the thing that we're afraid to say, or taking that leap of faith that we're afraid to take. When it comes to, a lot of us can feel stagnant in our lives and stuck in this rut of just negativity and mundanity and a lack of meaning and being disillusioned and just negativity, just stuck in this rut. And what a lot of us do is we kind of just sit on our asses, pardon my French, and wait for reality to magically change. We wait for a miracle to come our way just in the passing of the day. And then all of a sudden, we've spent the next 10 years sitting around, doing the same thing, going to the same job, talking to the same people, thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same feelings, and nothing has happened. Now, the reason this is because it's for a few different reasons, but mostly it's because the universe has a great sense of humor. If you're telling the universe, I'm gonna wait for you to do something for my life to change, the universe has your best interest in mind. The universe knows what you're capable of. So if you're sitting there thinking, I'm gonna wait for it to happen for me, I'm gonna sit here and try to manifest it by just sitting here and hoping and wishing, the universe is gonna postpone and sort of delay the manifestation or the realizing of the change you're looking for or the thing you're trying to bring into your life. Because it wants you to realize once and for all, and maybe this video will serve as a driving force in realizing this, that you play a way bigger role in the transformation of your life than you may have previously imagined. When we wish for a miracle, we're in a way disempowering ourselves. We're saying, I can't bring about the change that I want to see in my life. I can't change myself, so I need something godlike and external to me to do it for me. Now, miracles are great. Miracles are a nice kick in the butt to cause you to realize that the possibility is real. But see, that's what a miracle will often amount to, is in revealing to you the possibility is real. Like if you are sitting around and you have a job that doesn't pay you enough, and you're kind of sitting around wishing you had more money but not doing anything to bring about a financial change in your life, and then suddenly you buy a lottery ticket and you win $1 million. Because you haven't upgraded yourself or leveled yourself up to be able to handle that level of financial abundance, you're more than likely gonna blow it. You're more than likely gonna lose that money because you don't know how to handle that level of abundance. And we could all probably agree, winning $1 million is an awesome miracle. That's great. That's awesome. But the miracle is showing you the potential. It's reflecting back to you a potential that you have within yourself. But the question at hand is, do you have what it takes to embody that and to act from a place of maturity and groundedness and discipline with receiving that miracle? A lot of the time, the miracles are just a reflection of a potential within us. Or you sit around desperately wishing for a partner, a romantic relationship with somebody. And you sit around wishing, feeling lack, feeling I don't have, where's my partner? Am I ever gonna get a partner? And then all of a sudden, because of the way miracles work, the miracle comes in. A partner comes your way. But guess what? In the same way that you blew the $1 million because you hadn't worked on yourself to such an extent to be able to handle the $1 million, when the miracle of the romantic partner comes your way, you're not gonna know how to handle that. That energy is so foreign to you that you're going to sabotage it right out of your life so that you can go back to the vibration of wanting. Because you know really well how to want, but you don't know very well about having and about being and about living in fulfillment and abundance. You know? So something I've been realizing lately, and this is kind of what I want to emphasize in this video, is that a lot of our growth takes place when we step out of our comfort zone. Now that's obviously a very typical, stereotypical one-liner we all hear is, if you want to grow, step out of your comfort zone. But I want to push it a little bit further in saying that what it means to step out of your comfort zone is to do things that you don't feel comfortable with. To take a leap of faith, to ask a question, to do something, or perform an action, or put yourself out on a limb, or throw yourself into a leap of faith, trusting that the universe will come up with some sort of response. If you're stuck in a rut, like I was saying in the beginning, the universe is kind of in a funny kind of way. It's waiting for you to realize, bro, you gotta do something. You can't just sit around and not create and not work and not change your habits and change the way you're living your life and expect something to change. I stated it in a past video, but it was Albert Einstein who said, you can't solve a problem with the same state of mind that created it. It's humorous in a way, the way that the universe sort of holds off your growth until you realize that it's up to you to grow. You can take a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. So what I'm pointing to here when I say stepping out of your comfort zone is I'm saying when you feel like you're stuck in that rut, sometimes what it takes to get out of that rut, and let's just say you don't know what to do to get out of the rut. You don't know what the next step should be. So what you do is you do something. It doesn't matter what it is. You make a change. Because when you do something on a whim, it demands the universe to create some sort of result. When you feel stagnant, when you feel stuck in a rut that you don't like, I'm telling you, if you do something differently today, whether that be small or huge, it will cause alternative results to manifest in your life. A lot of the time, what's required for our growth to take place is to do things before we're ready. Like my YouTube channel, for example, there is a lot of stuff that I do before I'm ready. You know, I go live on YouTube every Thursday, and a lot of the time I'm not ready. I mean, I prepare for it and all this stuff, and you know, I'm expecting it, but I'm not ready to hit the, oh God, I'm gonna go live. Do I look good? Do I have everything set up? What's gonna happen? Are people gonna join? What you do is you go live anyway, and you just start. A few weeks ago, at the beginning of May, I hosted a community meet and greet on Zoom, where anybody and everybody that wanted to could come in and attend this meeting, and we'd all hang out, talk about stuff, just kind of have a good time together. Now, I had planned, I wanted to do this meet and greet for like literally 2 months prior to me actually hosting the meet and greet. But why didn't I create the meet and greet? Why was I waiting for 2 months? Well, I was preparing and I was planning and I was thinking, oh, what am I gonna say? How am I gonna structure it? How long should it be? How should I advertise it? How am I gonna be as the host? How am I gonna share this with people? All this questioning and all this stuff. And next thing I know, 2 months had gone by and I hadn't done anything because I was planning. I was trying to think it all over and mill it all over before taking an action. Because that's what the ego does, is it doesn't like to do something until it knows 110% of what's going to happen and who's going to be there and what the results will be, and every blind spot is accounted for. But we can't do that. So what happened was I got to the point where I said, you know what? I'm going to just schedule the meeting. I'm going to schedule the event. And I created the event, and I scheduled it, for 2 weeks in advance, and I posted it all over my YouTube and all over my Instagram and all over all my social medias. And what I realized in that moment, guys, is that I was exposing myself and I wasn't ready. But here's the thing. Exposure demands growth. Now that I have an event scheduled that people are going to be attending, expecting some sort of something to happen, it demands me to come up with the structure and how it's going to happen and how it's all going to go down. And the reason I was able to go through with it was because I demanded it to take place. I wasn't ready for that event. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But because I scheduled the event, it demanded me to come up with everything else surrounding it, to sort of complete it, to cocoon it in, to make it all make sense. Now, if I had sat around waiting, twiddling my thumbs, preparing and thinking it all over and planning and having it all in the mind, I probably would have gone another 2 months without doing anything. Now this example serves in so many different areas of our life. Let's say you're at your job and you're not getting paid a good amount of money. So what you're doing, like I've been suggesting in the very beginning, is you're kind of sitting around waiting, wishing, hoping, praying that your boss, your employer, gives you more money. Says, you know what, I notice you now. Here's all the money you need. You're waiting for that raise to come. And then, your year mark comes by and you get a 50-cent raise or $1 raise. Praise the Lord, I've been given $1 more. You know what I'm saying? You sit around waiting, when in reality, something that you could do that would be very beneficial for you would be to realize your worth in the company, in the job, to realize your place in the job, that you're offering your time for their payment. And what you do is you decide to stand up, go to your employer or your boss, whether it's an email or a formal meeting, and you say, hey, I was wondering if I could get paid more for my time here. I've been working really hard, I've been showing up, and I think I deserve more money. What are your thoughts on that? That's scary. That's scary as hell to ask for a raise. Usually it's the other way around where you're given the raise. But you're sitting around and you're in a rut and you're not making enough money and you're just waiting around wishing that your employer would give you more money. What if the thing to do is to ask for more money? Because when you I literally did this. I'm literally speaking from personal experience where at my job I'll be completely honest with you, I was making $20 an hour. Not bad, but not as much as I want to be making. You know what I'm saying? And I started to realize, damn, man, I want to have my own place. I want to be able to afford my rent and afford all my expenses and all this stuff. I need more money. I would like to have more money in my life. And I thought of, well, maybe you should ask for a raise. But I was like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't want to do that. I don't want to disgruntle my boss's feathers. I'll just sit and wait for a raise. But then I realized, you know what? Why the hell am I postponing asking for more money? More money to reflect back to me my worth in the company. So what I did is I reached out to my boss. I said, hey, can we have a talk soon? And we met up. And I asked for more money. And he said, let me think about it. And it was beautiful because I was showing up and I was owning my worth. I was saying, hey man, I feel like a raise is something that would really help me out in the position I'm in. I like working here, but I'm getting older. I need more money to be able to support myself. And if we can't situate that, it may be time for me to go elsewhere. And I ended up getting $1 raise. I mean, it's only $1, but when you think in that sense of only, that's kind of coming from you're kind of taking it for granted. But realize how I just got a lot more money in the grand scheme of things. I got a lot more money in asking for more money. All I did was ask. Ask and you shall receive. When you put yourself out there, it demands the universe to step up with some sort of result. A lot of the time when I travel, I'm thinking, where do I want to go? And then when I find where I want to go, where am I going to stay? What am I going to do? What's my itinerary going to look like? How should I do it? What should the dates be? And it gives me all this anxiety because the thing is you can't think all this through. You can't think it all over and then act. Life is learning in real time. You show up sloppy, you show up messy. So what I'll do when it comes to traveling, I'll just buy the plane ticket, bruh. Now I know that 2 months from now, there's a plane that I spent a lot of money on to take me somewhere. And in the same way I scheduled the event, the community meet and greet event, before even being ready for it, that's how I go about traveling too, where I buy my ticket. Now I'm going there in 2 months. So now I better come up with where I'm gonna stay and what's my transportation gonna be and what am I gonna do while I'm there and what's the fun stuff to do there. You act before you're ready. When it comes to content creation, like on YouTube or whatever it is, whatever platform you use, a lot of people sit in the waiting period. Do I have the right equipment? Do I have the right ideas? Should I script it or should I go off the cuff? How should I look? What should my lighting be? What should my YouTube thumbnail be? What should the title be? You think, and you think yourself into an anxious mess that isn't even able to show up authentically, and you aren't even able to deliver what you want to talk about because you're so focused on the how. What you should focus on is the being of it. The way that you start, the way that you grow is just start. You turn that camera on. You obviously, if you want to be a content creator, you got something you want to talk about. There's a calling that's there. So what you need to do is set the camera up, get out of your own way, and let the calling do the talking. You start before you're ready. Exposure demands growth. If I were to schedule an event, a live event where real people are going to spend their money to come and see me talk about something, and I schedule it before I have anything planned, that demands me to create that which will be presented at the event. If I buy a plane ticket, that demands me to come up with where I'm going to stay when I get there. You know? If you aren't making enough money and you ask your employer for a raise, it demands them to give you an answer. And from that answer, you can move forward with, maybe this job isn't the right job for you. You either are given more money or they say no, and with that, you can sort of determine maybe you should get a new job, one that's willing to give you more money. Now, another thing I'm experiencing here, I've talked about this in my past couple videos, but I'm moving out soon. And this will be the first time I've ever lived on my own. I don't know where the hell I'm going. I don't know how capable I am financially to be able to support myself. But you know, I feel so much excitement and so much confidence in this transition of my life, in moving forward with my life. I'm so excited. I'm so ready to be on my own. And the way that I've been looking for places to rent is, oh, well, I can probably only afford this much a month. And if I go over that, then it's going to be really tight and all this stuff. And the way I had this sort of realization the other day, in the same way I buy the ticket before I'm ready, or I create the event before I'm ready. What if I were to go after a place and apply to a place that I don't think I can financially support? What if you go after the place that you think, whoa, I don't know if I can do that, man? Because what if that's just what it takes to level your ass up? What if what it takes to grow is to be willing to feel a little bit uncomfortable in the decisions you're making? Because after all, the comfort zone is the comfort zone because it's familiar and you never step out of it. There's people in my life that don't like to travel. And the reason they don't like to travel is not because they think the world is ugly and horrible, but a lot of the time because they're afraid. Especially when it comes to traveling alone. I've traveled alone twice now. I went to California a few years ago, and then I went to Sedona, Arizona just a couple weeks ago. And man, it's so liberating. It's so beautiful to be out on my own. And you know, when you do the unexpected, when you do things before you're ready, it demands the universe to show up, to change, to transform itself in some kind of way. You know how I was joking about how the universe is kind of like humorously waiting for you to realize that it's in your hands that the change you're looking for will happen. And you're just sitting there in a rut waiting for it all to change. When you decide to do something on a whim, you get that place that you don't think you can afford. You buy a plane ticket. You ask that person out on a date. You ask your employer for a raise. You decide to change jobs, to move. You decide, you know what, from here on out, I'm not gonna do X, Y, or Z. Or you know what, I'm gonna start doing this. Or you create a YouTube channel, or you become a content creator. It makes the universe, it has this little hiccup moment. It's like, oh shit, he's acting. She's making decisions. And the universe is ready to meet you halfway with where you're coming from. So if you put your foot down, man, and say, listen, I don't know what this action is going to result in, but I'm going to take this action because I don't like the familiar comfort zone that I'm living in, and I'm ready to grow, and I know that I can grow. So you take that leap of faith. And what that does is, like I've been saying, it demands the universe to come up with a result. Now that result might not necessarily be what you want, but nevertheless, you find yourself in a new position. You're in a new position, and in that new position, you have a complete advantage. You're out of your comfort zone now. Okay, what's the next move? What's the next move? When you get out of your comfort zone, that's when you start growing. This is why change is our friend. Change is scary. It's kind of like, it seems inherently scary. But you start to realize after a while that change, and not only change, but moreover, the unknown is the medium within which your transformations grow. It's within the unknown that all the potential you're looking for lives. So how do you think you get into that potential? You step into the unknown. You take leaps of faith. You start before you're ready. You stop thinking it all over and act. You know that moment when like you have a crush on somebody and you know you guys are hanging out and you're hitting it off and you're having a good time and you know the room clears and the lights are dim and there's a beautiful song playing and the moonlight's maybe shining in the window and it's just you and that person. And it comes to a lull in the conversation. And every cell in your body is saying, kiss them, bro. Kiss them. Lean in. Do it. Do it. Do it. But your ego, your mind, who doesn't want to do the wrong thing, act in the wrong way, says, oh my God, I don't know. No. And then somebody comes in the room, or they get a phone call and they have to leave. And you miss your opportunity. You miss the moment. You miss your mark because of your anxiety of trying to prepare. Should I do it? I'm going to do it. No, I shouldn't do it. Should I do it? Oh, no. And you get all this anxiety, and you get so flustered that you don't act. It's called indecisiveness. And indecisiveness will rob you of so many potentials, so many opportunities. Opportunities that may behold within them just the transformation that you're looking for. So what I'm trying to emphasize in this video is really to start before you think you're ready. Start. Do it. Book that plane ticket. Ask for that raise. Ask that person out on a date. Move to that state. Do it. Start your YouTube channel. Create the thing that you're afraid to create. Put yourself out there. Post your art online. Do it. Start now. Because when you start now, not necessarily knowing where it's headed, and I mean realistically speaking, how the hell could you? You can't predict the future. So when you start to get down with the groove and the rhythm and the flow of change and the unknown, and that your actions are arising out of a deeper aspect of yourself that is set on its own like motion by God, when you begin to vibe with that flow and you start acting in way the actions are just kind of coming out of you, that's when life starts to get interesting. That's when the unknown starts to become your best friend. And that's when the comfort zone, the familiar, what you've always done, how you've always thought, what you've always said, becomes in a way horrifying and uninteresting. You don't want to be in the familiar because you start to realize that the unknown is where all the action's at. The unknown is where all the passion and potential is. Creativity is an act of the unknown. It's an act of faith, you know? So not only do I want to emphasize acting before you're ready, but also I want to point out the importance of realizing that pushing the envelope a little bit is also in your best interest. Like me potentially going to rent a place that I don't think I can afford. Because then when I do that, it demands me to come up with more money. It demands my financial flow to increase. Where if you find a place that only costs enough where you can afford it, what's the point of making more money? You know, it's when you put yourself out there, when you go out on a limb, when you push the envelope a little bit, it demands reality to change. Like I said, it kind of makes the universe go, oh, he's ready to change. She's ready to grow. Well, here, let me offer a new opportunity. Let me offer a new angle. Let me offer a new perspective. Let me offer perhaps a new passion. You know? Like when you think about exercising. If you just do 10 push-ups every day for the rest of your life, nothing's going to happen. It's when you start doing more push-ups after a while. When you start adding a little bit more weight with every rep. That's when it starts to get interesting. Because humans thrive under pressure. Humans thrive when they're constantly, as I said, pushing the envelope a little bit. How much more can I do? How much more can I do? What if I do just a little bit more? What if I do something I'm completely uncomfortable with? You know? The things that you're procrastinating on doing, the things that you're afraid to do. It's within doing it that not only are you relieved of the fear, but you grow. You grow because inside of doing it, you're stepping out of the comfort zone. And it's literally as simple as getting out of your damn comfort zone that your entire life will begin to transform. When you act, it demands your life to change. If you're stuck, if you're stagnated, if you're feeling in a rut and nothing's changing, maybe it's because the universe is reflecting back to you that you need to change. That you are where the change will happen. So when you change, as I've stated multiple times now, it demands reality to match your energy. When you say, I'm done, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, I don't know what to do, but I'm going to do something. I'm going to change. Something's going to happen. You'll find that right thing to do in that moment. And it will seem absolutely crazy to do it. But it's so important that you do it. Because when you do it, it demands the reality around you to create a result. Now, real quick, before I go here, I want to share one more little story. My brother had a job lined up. We live in Maine here, and he had a job lined up to go work in Florida, and it's a really good job. It's going to pay him really good. And him and his girlfriend were saving up money to be able to afford to go down there and live down there and get started, you know? And the universe works in hilarious, mysterious ways. Like I said, the universe kind of has this sense of humor. All of a sudden, my brother's girlfriend's car broke down. And my brother's car is already kind of not working well. So my brother's girlfriend's car broke down, and they had to drop $2,000 into it. And that was all of what they had been saving at the time. And now they can't go to Florida right now. They planned to go down literally at the end of this month. But now they can't because they had to dump all their savings into fixing her car. So what the universe is saying is, not yet, bro. You ain't going to Florida yet. It's funny you thought you were going to go to Florida. No, you're not ready to go yet. But you know what else is interesting is my brother, he could push back with that, and he could say, you know what, because this job he's going down to, they would offer housing for him to go down, but the thing is, the caveat is that he has to go down alone. He wants to just move down with his girlfriend and their dog and their cat and everything, but now he can't afford it. So now the only option right now is to either stay here and save money and keep working the job that he doesn't like, or he can take up the company's offering to move into a little dorm room housing to help him get started, but he has to move down alone. So if my brother were to combat the universe's game of pushing him back financially with saying, you know what, no, I'm going to contact the employer, the company, and I'm going to move down to Florida all on my own, and I'm going to get started. I don't need everything to come with me along. I'm going to do it anyway. That would demand results of the universe. It's like a chess game, man. Now the universe has to act on that. And it very well, the universe meets courage and strength with removing obstacles, removing the boundaries. In Hinduism, there's a goddess known as Ganesh. And Ganesh is a representation of the god which removes the obstacles of your life. And that's how the universe tends to work, is when you show up to it with courage and you say, no, dude, these setbacks aren't going to make me turn my eye and say, oh, no, I shouldn't do it. I don't have what it takes. These setbacks are going to act as inspiration and fuel to get me back up and to keep going forward. When you have that attitude, get ready, because the universe is going to start to show up for you in a really interesting way. When you show up to life ready to go, life shows up to you ready to go. So if you feel stuck, maybe you are the change that needs to happen. And I can't sit here and tell you what that change is or what you need to do, but all I'm saying is you have way more power right in here and right in here than you're giving yourself credit for. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. And before I head out, I do want to mention real quick that right now I'm offering completely free coaching sessions on Zoom, where if this video resonated with you, or you watch my YouTube channel and the content that I release resonates with you, and you have something that you want to talk to me personally about, I highly recommend you sign up for one of these completely free coaching sessions with me. You can find it if you're interested by going to the top of my YouTube channel, and you hit inside the links, you'll find a link that says Beta Coaching Program. You go in there and that's where you'll find everything you need to schedule a session with me. It'll be on Zoom, an hour long. So if that interests you, don't hesitate to reach out, because I won't be doing the free sessions for much longer. But yeah, with that said, do your boy Northwood Shaman a favor, leave a like on this video before you click off. It's so simple and it helps these videos go such a long way. And if you like the content, subscribe to the channel so that you can see this stuff whenever it comes up, because I post this stuff every week, man. It's my passion, it's my purpose, and I love to be here, and I'm not going anywhere. So with that said, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.